Guess who's back?
Who's back?
South Jersey Secrets.
Ooh.
Where have we been?
The important stuff is we are here for you to provide you the latest secrets from South Jersey.
So this is Jessica.
And this is David.
So in light of the nation's 250th anniversary and the fact that 4th of July just quietly, very quietly passed, we're going to talk a little bit about local Deptford history.
Starting with a well-known celebrity, Fred the Turkey, also known as Tom the Turkey, who was a resident of Caulfield Avenue in Deptford.
Was he really a resident? It's a turkey. He wasn't paying taxes. He wasn't a property owner.
Well, he lived in the woods right behind that neighbor's house.
I thought he lived at the dealership that's there, the like four-wheel quad dealership.
That was part of his territory.
He was transient. He wasn't a resident.
Yeah, he would also assault vehicles that were passing by on the road, but we'll get to that in a moment.
No, let's not call him a resident. He didn't have roots.
That's a controversial statement.
Again, he was a transient.
So, Fred is a celebrity who loved to strut his stuff all over his territory, from DHY Motorsports to the Rastelli's parking lot.
Yeah, his territory really spanned Clemsbridge Road to Caulfield Avenue.
Also, Fred had a notorious temperament where he would relentlessly defend his territory by charging at people and even cars on the road, off the road, in their driveways.
So Fred was a jerk.
Fred was protective.
He was a transient jerk.
I guess you could say that. I wouldn't.
On March 25th, 2026, Fred met the end of his run. He was killed on the road nearby, or was it in front of?
I'm not sure if it was in front of or nearby DHY Motorsports. Someone please leave a comment and let us know.
Anyway, he was hit and he did not make it. Unfortunately, the driver did not stop. At least that's the rumor. That road is slow. It's only 25 miles an hour, I think, but lots and lots of people blow through there.
Oh, yeah.
And likely, depending on the time, they didn't see him or they just didn't care.
So Fred's neighbor, human neighbor that is, buried him on their private property. Now, question, should Fred have been moved to a more secure location?
That's controversial because they did try and move Fred a few times and he just kept coming back. That was kind of his spot. And then they had rehabbed him once or twice before, I think, as well. It's not the first time Fred got hit. It was the last time. Well, he didn't make it. But in the past, he'd been injured before and rehabbed. But I do believe they tried to move him once before. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, audience, but he just kept coming back.
Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.
Oh, by the way, it's a crime to deliberately kill a wild turkey in New Jersey, no matter how much of a jerk he is.
This is true, so don't do it. Now, for those who don't know, Deptford is an old historic town in South Jersey that was formed on June 1st, 1695. Certain Deptford residents have important ties to the Revolutionary War, and they alter the course of American history.
Now, this was fun. So we had decided to go pay our respects to Fred, driven over, walked over to this very nice lady's house. She's allowing people to view Fred and his grave. And little did we know, he is resting next to a group of anonymous Hessian soldiers and Jonas Cattell.
Now, why does that matter? To begin, let's talk turkey.
Bad pun.
The wild turkeys of New Jersey were once nearly hunted to extinction in the 1800s, and much of their wildlife habitats have been destroyed due to overdevelopment.
Fortunately, the turkey population was reintroduced in 1977 by the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife. The state basically released 22 birds into the forests and began a restoration project that's been very successful. If our neighborhood is any indication, we have plenty of turkeys running around on a regular basis.
As of today, the wild turkey population in the state of New Jersey is about 20,000 and remains stable.
Now, I like to classify in a very unscientific way the types of turkeys. In our particular neighborhood, you see brown butts, which David tells me are females, and blue butts, which are the males. Brown butts have fewer ornately colored feathers, I guess so they can hide while they're sitting on their eggs, while blue butts are more flashy, decorative males. And males will make their distinctive gobbling sound to attract females during mating season. Oh. Now, okay, I have to talk about this. I'm sorry. This neighborhood has some strange turkey population. There was a day I was working in my office upstairs and I heard gobbling and just general, leaves crunching. I look outside and I see the strangest pagan turkey ceremony I've ever seen in my life.
I call it a turkey circle pit.
Yeah, in our neighbor's yard, there was a turkey standing in the middle, blue butt. He was a blue butt, slowly circling, while a number of other turkeys were literally running around him in a circle. Counterclockwise, gobbling. And they did this for about 40 minutes. Nonstop. Don't understand. Don't want to understand. It did storm later that day. Maybe it had something to do with the weather. But these turkeys freak me out a little bit.
Female turkeys can lay between 8 and 14 eggs a year. And approximately 60% of their eggs will survive the bird's natural predators such as foxes, coyotes, raccoons. I believe possums also will snack on them, turtles too. And yes, turkeys can fly, but they don't fly very far, nor do they fly very high.
All right, well, we're going to keep talking Fred here. In the past, we saw Fred often walking on Clements Bridge Road. And earlier in December 2025, we actually saw Fred being chased off the road by a Good Samaritan.
We were driving in our car when that happened,
yes.
And we slowed down to make sure that the Good Samaritan wasn't hit by us, because she kind of just ran right in front of our car too while chasing after Fred.
And here at South Jersey Secrets, we obey the traffic laws most of the time.
Yes, unlike some drivers that we've seen, on the sauce. Fred is so well known, he had his own turkey crossing sign, and he was named Citizen of the Month by Deptford Township in April 2025.
Really?
Yeah. I'll actually put
a turkey.
Yeah, I'll put an image in the video so you can actually see this.
We have so few good citizens. We had to name a turkey. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fred was also on the news. A woman named Kim was interviewed by ABC 6 Action News, and Kim is the neighbor, we believe, who is now hosting Fred's grave in her yard. But she said, I could sit on my front porch and say, come on, Fred, it's breakfast time. And he'd come moseying down the driveway. Kim said peanuts were Fred's favorite food along with birdseed, and she enjoyed seeing him every day.
However, our beloved birds are not without controversy, as they are territorial animals, just like humans. All
right, so continuing, everything you ever wanted to know about turkeys. This probably should have been a Thanksgiving episode. But turkeys also gather in flocks, can fly over fences, peck at cars when they see their reflections, and may even chase after humans. We've seen reports of people complaining that turkeys have come close to harming family and friends. Wow, these turkeys are violent.
No, it's not that bad, because before we start seeing comments about how we need to protect the children from turkeys, we have found 0 fatalities or serious injuries caused by turkeys pecking a human to death.
That's an image.
That said, we knew it would only be a matter of time until Fred was killed by a negligent driver.
I didn't know that. I didn't assume he would get run over.
Oh, yeah, I knew he would. He was always out in the middle of that road. It's less a road and more a strode when you think about it.
I guess. So, as we mentioned earlier, when we went to visit Fred, we stumbled upon these graves that we didn't really know were there. The graveyard itself, it is actually a cemetery, and it's called the Old Deptford Strangers Burial Ground.
Fred's resting place is only not even a minute away from the Deptford Strangers Burial Ground. So while we visited Fred's grave, we walked farther up Caulfield Ave to this small forgotten cemetery with several weathered headstones.
There was a placard there that gave us some information about it. The cemetery, the Deptford Strangers Burial Ground, was founded in 1770 and is located in the once rural section of Deptford called Lavender Hills.
All right, now Lavender Hills was home to the New Jersey war hero Jonas Cattell, who helped save hundreds of Continental soldiers at Fort Mercer during the Revolutionary War. More on that in a minute. We don't know how many Hessian soldiers are buried at the old Stranger Cemetery, but we do know they saw action at the Red Bank Battle for Fort Mercer, today known as National Park.
And continuing with the history, if you don't know, on October 22nd,
1977.
Continuing with the history lesson here, if you don't know, on October 22nd, 1777, around 2,000 Hessian soldiers, including Colonel von Donop, were sent by General Howe of the British Army to Fort Mercer with orders to take the fort. And Fort Mercer was an earthen fort occupied by the Continental Army, and along with Fort Mifflin on the Pennsylvania side of the Delaware River, it was meant to block the advance of the British Army on Philadelphia during the Philadelphia Campaign of 1777.
Now, as we remember, Philadelphia was captured by the British on September 26, and Americans then failed to destroy the British at the Battle of Germantown on October 4th.
Now, Fort Mercer in Red Bank, which was back then part of Deptford Township, was crucial to helping Fort Mifflin keep British ships from resupplying their army in Philadelphia. Around 400 Continental Army men were stationed at Fort Mercer and were commanded by Colonel Greene.
When Colonel Donop, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it, arrived with his Hessian soldiers, he issued an ultimatum. Lay down your arms, or if you stand in battle, no quarter will be given.
Colonel Greene replied, "We ask no quarter, nor will we give any. They would fight to the last man."
Colonel Donop thought that Fort Mercer was lightly garrisoned, so he ordered a direct attack. The 9th Continental Regiment, along with the 1st Rhode Island Regiment, aka Varun's Regiment, fought the Hessians.
This group, which included free blacks, enslaved people, and Native American soldiers, were able to push back the 2,000-plus Hessian army and kill a reported 377 Hessians while wounding 27.
Americans lost 14 soldiers and 27 were wounded. Now, while Fort Mercer ultimately fell to the British a month later, the battle served as a morale boost to the American cause. It delayed the British from consolidating forces in Philadelphia and relieved pressure on George Washington's Continental Army, which was nearby north of Philadelphia.
Well, what about Jonas Cattell? So how did the Continental Army first know that the Hessians were coming? Well, that honor goes to Mr. Cattell.
Jonas was born in 1758 on the Lavender Hills farm in Deptford. He was reported to be half Lenape native. Jonas was an avid outdoorsman, hiker, explorer, and he knew all the trails throughout South Jersey.
It's reported that he delivered letters by foot from Woodbury to Cape May and back. That's a long walk, 160 miles, in 2 days. Whether that's true, we couldn't say. Sounds a bit... Okay. Anyway, that's not a walk. That's a run, Jonas.
He might be like maybe flying on the wings of on the wings of a turkey, yeah.
Maybe. Anyway, so in October, Jonas was in Haddonfield, New Jersey, along with a force of Hessian soldiers who were camped in the town.
And Jonas was arrested by these soldiers for violating curfew. You know, nowadays, he probably, if he were that young, he might have been arrested at the Deptford Mall for being unaccompanied with a parent.
Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night. So anyway, as punishment, he was jailed by the Hessians until first light.
During the long, cold October night, Jonas heard the Hessians discussing an upcoming surprise morning attack against Fort Mercer.
And when he was released that morning by the Hessians, Jonas ran 10 miles from Haddonfield to Fort Mercer.
That's nothing compared to the 160.
Well, still, he ran from Haddonfield to Fort Mercer to warn the Continental Army of the impending attack. And Jonas, unlike the Hessians, knew the back trails from Haddonfield to Red Bank.
His knowledge of the area and this man's apparently lightning speed meant that he was able to arrive well before the Hessian troops, giving the outnumbered Americans plenty of time to prepare for the battle. It can be argued that had Fort Mercer fallen sooner than it did, the British Army could have resupplied in Philadelphia, enabling them to quickly attack Washington's weakened army, possibly changing the outcome of the war.
Which, if you love discussing alternative history, please let us know your thoughts in the comment below.
Or if we totally messed up this history lesson.
Yeah, you can also yell at us in the comments below and give us a thumbs up regardless, please. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. After the battle, though, Jonas enlisted in the army and he served throughout the Revolutionary War. And then after the war, Jonas returned to Deptford, living a long life outdoors, surrounded by friends, community, and becoming a master of hounds for the Gloucester Fox Hunting Club, the first of its kind in North America.
Jonas really kind of looked like a mountain man. He was always carrying his gun, a tomahawk, and often wore a red flannel shirt with a heavy overcoat and fisherman boots.
Kind of like the brawny man, the paper towel guy?
Man.
Yeah.
He's based on that.
Yeah, the lumberjack
American,
guy.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Well, he died on September 18th, 1849 at the ripe old age of 91.
And he is buried at the Cattell family burial ground in a tiny wooden grove in Deptford, which is on Melvin Avenue, about a block away from Caulfield Ave, and also very close to the old Deptford Strangers burial ground, which is also close to Fred the Turkey's grave.
Now, to this day, South Jersey residents continue to honor Jonas with the Jonas Cattell Run, which makes a whole lot of sense given how fast this man supposedly was.
Originating in 1969, this 10-mile run starts at Kings Court in Haddonfield and ends at Fort Mercer in National Park, New Jersey. And I'd personally like to think Fred the Turkey is now running with Jonas through these old trails.
Running with or chasing Jonas?
Or maybe Jonas is chasing him. Who knows?
Well, that's true. He was a hunter.
Yeah.
Fred probably looked like food.
Yeah.
Well, this is our little snapshot in honor again of the 250th anniversary of this country and the absolutely deep Revolutionary War history here in South Jersey. It's nice to think that Deptford, again, where we live, is a part of this. And also now Fred the Turkey is part of this Deptford rich and significant history.
Personally, I think that Deptford should host an annual Fred the Turkey parade to honor this rich history with turkey floats and, people dressed up as turkeys and gobbling down the road where Fred passed.
That would be strange. But at least without Fred, we may not have stumbled on the old Deptford Strangers burial ground. It was interesting. We were at the Deptford Library attending a talk about the Revolutionary War, and Jonas Cattell was mentioned in that talk, and no one sitting in the audience had ever heard of this burial ground. It was mentioned again on that evening, and it's just interesting how many people who live in Deptford don't realize this exists. So if you get a chance, definitely go out and check it. As always, thank you for listening, and remember to look out for each other, for your local wildlife, and maybe, just maybe, spend a little time learning a little more about your local history.
Thank you for listening, and please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video.